We want to make sure that you don't lose your life savings. So I went along with it.
Sir, we want to make sure you don't lose your life savings.
Imagine working your entire life, saving carefully, and then losing $1.7 million. Not in a risky stock market crash, but because the very institutions you trusted to protect your money, your banks, just stood by and watched it happen. Today, we are breaking down a devastating, highly sophisticated scam that targeted an 89-year-old Canadian man named Ray. But more importantly, we're going to look at the massive blind spot in our banking system that allowed this to happen, and exactly what you need to do today to protect your aging parents and your own life savings. Let's pull back the curtain on how these scammers actually operate. It never starts with a demand for money. It starts with a perfectly normal-looking phone call. In June, Ray gets a call. The caller ID says CIBC, his actual bank. The voice on the other end is calm, professional, and sounds exactly like a bank fraud investigator. They tell Ray his accounts are compromised and they need his help to investigate an internal money laundering ring. Notice the psychology here. They aren't threatening him, they are recruiting him. They tell him, "We want to make sure you don't lose your life savings." The scammers then deploy their most dangerous weapon, secrecy. They tell Ray this is a highly sensitive investigation and he cannot tell his family. By cutting off his support system, the scammers become the only voices he trusts. Over the next few months, the scammers convince Ray to move his money to a different bank, RBC. And here is where it gets crazy. They instruct him to walk into the branch, withdraw bank drafts for hundreds of thousands of dollars at a time, and use them to buy physical gold bars. Couriers then show up at his apartment to take the gold away, claiming it's going into a secure vault. By the time the dust settles, his accounts are completely drained. Now here is the part that should make your blood boil. Ray was 89 years old. He was walking into major banks and asking for bank drafts for $100,000, $200,000, and $300,000 to buy gold. How does a bank teller, a manager, or a fraud department look at that and not immediately hit the panic button? CIBC did send a warning letter, but they still let the withdrawals happen. RBC apparently didn't even ask what the money was for. In countries like the UK and Australia, new laws are making banks legally liable to reimburse victims if the bank fails to spot obvious red flags of fraud. But right now, in North America, banks are fighting tooth and nail against these protections. I want to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments. Should banks be forced to refund victims when they ignore massive red flags like this? If you have elderly parents or grandparents, you cannot assume the bank will protect them. You have to put your own safety nets in place. Here are 2 things you need to do right now. Number 1, teach the hang-up, look-up rule. If a bank, the IRS, or the police call you about your money, hang up the phone. Look up the official number on the back of your debit card or their official website and call them yourself. Scammers can spoof caller IDs, but they can't intercept your outgoing calls to the real bank. Number 2, set up a financial safety net. Sit down with your aging parents and ask to be set up as a read-only contact on their bank accounts. You won't be able to move their money, but you will get an alert if there is a massive sudden withdrawal. It removes the secrecy that scammers rely on. Scams are evolving faster than our laws, which means education is our best defense. Share this video with anyone who might be vulnerable to this kind of manipulation. Hit the subscribe button to stay ahead of the latest financial frauds, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there.